All right. Hey, welcome to our webinar today on Thursday. You guys know we do a webinar every single Thursday. I want to make sure you add this to your calendar as the most important appointment every week. The most important, those words just kind of blended together. The most important appointment every week in your calendar. So on Thursdays, we do a webinar, and we're always bringing you some type of a strategy that's going to help you move forward in your sales process. So we did see in the chat, we got people from all over the country. We got people from all over the world. It's amazing. So we appreciate you all being here today. And we're going to get right into it for you. We're going to, we got the Chicago entrepreneur just popped in the house as well. This guy's, if anybody in the Chicago, you need to connect with Victor. The guy is no joke. Let me start recording right here. Well, we are recording. I'm going to share my slides for a minute and we're going to get going. All right, cool. So y'all should be seeing a picture of a laptop in the top left corner. It says top follow-up secrets to close more sales. Give me a thumbs up if that's what you're looking at right now. I want to hear from you guys. Who says that? If that's what, I just want to make sure that's what you're seeing. Oh, now we just change it to when you help enough people get what they want, you can have whatever it is that you want. So let me know that you can see the slides if you could in the chat. So this is a saying that I live by, and I've been living by this for a long time. And it's inspired by Zig Ziglar, and it really comes down to helping other people, serving other people. And when you come from service, at the end of the day, you help enough people in your life, you'll end up with what you want out of your life. And so I really, my goal is to live by this, and I love it. Anytime I do an event or a workshop or a webinar or anything, I like to start off with this because I think it's that important. So let me jump to tell you a little bit about myself. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but over 35 years in outbound sales. And note to self, and we need to probably change the color of the type on there because it's kind of blending in with the clouds. But 35 years in outbound sales, 17 years in the real estate industry, 2.5 years coaching, consulting has been my last 2.5 years. I am a Cardone certified 10X trainer. The material that I'm going to deliver today is actually from one of Grant Cardone's courses. Also was with the Success brand for a year. I was a trainer for Keller Williams for a lot of years, which really is where I learned how to do training and coaching and be on stages and be in front of people. And going way back, Dale Carnegie, I did some courses for Dale Carnegie a long time ago. And that's really where, I guess, if I really had to say where I really, really learned how to get in front of rooms of groups of people, that was the first time I did it was probably back in the late 90s. And then it was fun and it was uncomfortable. So I'm excited to be here. Author of two books, The Sales Playbook and How to Make More Money, or how to earn even more money. Let me say it clearly. Working fewer hours in, and then just cross out where it says real estate and put whatever business you're in, because fundamentally that's going to work regardless of what industry you're in. And then my 11 simple strategies to close more sales. Maybe the most important thing about me is I'm a father of 3 beautiful daughters. I've got an amazing wife, and I now have 2 grandchildren. I know it's hard to believe. It's like, holy cow, 2 grandchildren. It's amazing. I'm blessed. And I have the podcast called Path to Mastery. We have over 365 episodes. We've had Gary V, Mel Robbins, Grant Cardone's been on 3 times. We've just been fortunate to have some amazing guests. Now, one of the courses I deliver for Grant, it's one of the courses I actually have approved as curriculum for the state of Massachusetts as well. It's called the Sales Essentials Workshop. And some of the stuff I'm going to share today is from the Sales Essentials Workshop. It's a 2-day workshop. And so at the end, right before we go to Q&A, I'm going to tell you how you can get engaged in a Sales Essentials workshop that I have. I'm personally teaching virtually online on the 25th. So I want to make sure I give you an awesome opportunity to get involved in that workshop today. So now I'm going to share with you, though, the 10 biggest follow-up mistakes. All right, that's what we're here for. Now, as I'm doing this, I want to see in the chat, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's see, I want to see some numbers here. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how proficient would you say you are with your follow-up? Like, so a 10. So let me stop for a minute. Yeah. So I want to be clear. An actual 10. Why is this thing doing this? A 10 would be like literally, it's just everything's on point. It's working perfect. You got you're just a ninja master, absolute assassin when it comes to follow-up, right? A 1 would be, man, I just need a lot. I need a lot of work. Like I'm just horrible. I never follow up. So let's hear some numbers. So John said P. I'm sorry, John P says 3. Okay, a 6. All right, Chicago said 6. We got to fix that for you, Chicago. We got to fix that 3 as well. Tracy said 6. I love it. Okay, good. So you guys are honest. I appreciate it. We got another 6 here. We got a 5 from Shantae. Okay, great. We have another 3, another 5. Linnell. Okay, wow. Okay, so our group seems like we're probably like right in the middle. A couple more 5s popping up. Completely new. Okay, good. So good. Completely new means you're on the low side. That's fine. So this is great. So keep those numbers coming. The good thing now is to realize that the group, we're probably about an average of a 5, which is good, right? Because you're right in the middle. So it means you're doing some stuff, but we can help you get to that next level. So I'm going to share right now, probably the biggest mistake is not making the call. The number one mistake in sales is not even making a call. I was on a webinar this morning with Jared Glant, who runs Grant's organization, and he was saying that 44% of salespeople don't even make the call. Like, you call somebody, and you all know this because you've probably experienced it yourself, right? You've called somebody to get some information on something, and nobody even called you back. So 44% don't even make the call, right? It's crazy. Now, there is a percentage of people that do make the call, and that's about 48% of people will actually make the call. Okay, they'll call you back. Meaning, you call a salesperson, you can expect little less than half that will actually call you back. Okay, and like say, hey, it's me. And here's the biggest challenge: they only call once. Once. The problem is they call you once, and the reality is greatness. Okay, you will not find greatness until you show up. Okay, you will not have greatness unless you're taking action. Some of you guys have taken courses with me, and we teach the 3 A's, right? Attitude, it starts here in your thinking. Attitude, number 1. Number 2 is approach, okay? And then number 3 is activity. Okay, so greatness will not find you until you actually start showing up, and creativity will not find you until you take action. So what Brandon's saying is we got to show up. We got to keep taking those actions, but it starts here. It starts first in your mindset. So now the second mistake is not making enough calls. I already mentioned 48% only calls once. But if you think you're going to call only 1, 2, or 3, or even 4 times, you're not going to make it. Okay? Because the reality is most people aren't calling you back. No one picks up the phone. Right? So, we're not just talking about phone calls. We're talking about phone calls, emails, text messages, video text, everything. Like, follow-up is a combination of all those things. All right? It's the challenge is like social media is easy for a lot of us. So what a lot of people do is they actually go and they just jump on social media and say, okay, I'm going to send a message through here. I'm going to post something. And the reality is it takes 5 to 12 attempts. Now, I'm not bashing social media. I'm not saying don't do social media, but what we are saying is we want it to be a combination of a lot of different things. And I'm going to share those with you in a couple, right? But social media can be one of your attempts, but what's most effective, okay? What's the most effective is a combination of multiple ways to follow up. So the reality is most of us aren't making enough, guys. Less than 48% will call more than once. The other thing is you're not calling on a regular basis, right? You're just randomly showing up. You're not doing it every day. Maybe you'll do something here, maybe something there. You put a time block in your calendar, and then John calls and okay, yeah, let's go have a coffee, or right. So there's no regular, consistent process for getting the work done. You got to figure out how to time block. You got to figure out how to create some consistency, a schedule. It's discipline, the D word that nobody likes. So if you're not getting results, again, remember I said the 3 A's. I would write this down. A cubed. The first A is your attitude. Attitude has to be right. The attitude, if the attitude's not right, it don't matter. Okay? Nothing else is going to pan out. Once your attitude's right, then your approach has to be right. You got to have the right approach. Okay? We're going to share some approach with you today. Okay? And then the third one is going to be activity. And that's what we're talking about right now. You want to get fit. You want to get fit. You want to get fit. Like right now, it's as we're doing this particular webinar, it is January 10th. There's a lot of people at the gyms right now. Y'all know that. There's a lot of people in the gyms working out right now. But I'll tell you what, I bet you, I hate to say it, I'm not trying to be mean, but by mid-March, most of the people that are in the gyms right now, I hate to tell you, they're probably not going to be here. The majority of them aren't going to be here anymore. Why? Because they did not create discipline for themselves. Okay, they did not create a system for themselves. Because the only way you're going to get fit is if you consistently keep doing something. Day after day after day. It's the same thing with sales. The only way you're going to become great at sales is if you consistently practice, you consistently role play, you consistently work on your craft. It's the same thing with follow-up. All right, here's the next one. Waiting too long. Huge mistake. Huge. Let me see in the chat, if you have ever, I want to see in the chat, if you've ever followed up with somebody and they told you, oh gosh, I just went with someone else. Drop a 1 in the chat. If you've ever heard that, I'm just curious because it might only be me. I may be the only one. So, so a couple, okay, good. A couple of you guys too. I guess it's not good. I just feel like, okay, good. At least it's not only me, right? Like I'm the only one that's not following up. Well, you will, Santush, you will, right? So the thing is, when we wait too long, what happens is they change their mind. Other things happen. Okay, somebody might say, hey, I need 6 months. So what you do is you go in your system, your approach, you put a reminder for 5 months to follow up. And then what ends up in 5 months, you call like, oh my gosh, David, I just went with somebody else last month. And you're just like, but why? Like, I thought you said you were going to wait 6 months. You know why they did that? Let me tell you why. I'll give you the biggest reason right now is they had a change in plans. That's what happens with people. So if people tell you 6 months, what I do is I'll usually put a 2-month follow-up in there because I want to give them a call and say, hey, it's David. I know you said 6 months. I'm going to acknowledge that. And I know you said 6 months, but I know sometimes situations change. So I wanted to make sure, is that still the schedule you're on? All right. Another thing too, that I want you guys to realize is following up immediately. Like if you can, like normally my fingers are snapping, but if you, I don't know if they're a little, well, it's not working today, the little snap click thing. If you can follow up in the first 60 seconds, the first minute, it will increase your chances by 300. I mean, that's a massive number, right? 320% increase by following up in the first 60 seconds. Why does that happen? Because somebody may be on a break. They may be at work on the internet, goofing around. They go to a website, they put their information, and if you follow up with them right away, they're going to respond. You may follow up with them an hour later. They've already moved on. They're doing something else. Now they're with their kids. Now they're back at work. You have no idea. So the faster you can follow up, the better. Speed is certainty. Speed is security. And speed is the way to go. Number 5, okay? Number 5 of our 10 is lack of variety of reasons to call. Lack of variety, okay? So it's a massive mistake. You just can't keep saying the same thing over and over. Hey, hey, John, it's Dave. Just following up. Tracy, hey, it's Dave. Yeah, just following up. Again, you call a couple weeks ahead. Yeah, just following up again. Yep, following up. Hey, it's me. Just following up. That's what salespeople do. That gets old after a while, right? What you need to do is you need to continue to bring value. Right? You want to pour into them. You want to bring them something that maybe is industry specific, depending on what you're doing. You should have a different reason for the call every single time. Okay, if you keep just repeating the same thing, that's when people are going to ghost you. And anybody besides me ever been ghosted? Do you guys know what ghosted is? Let me see in the chat. Who's ever been ghosted? If you've been ghosted, drop a big old G in the chat. Besides me, I've been ghosted a lot of times, but that's okay. I'm going to share a strategy at the end too on how you can overcome being ghosted. All right. But when you use the same techniques over and over and over, what ends up happening is you just become predictable, you know, and there's no consistency and there's no results at the end of the day, because we go back to the A cubed, which is your approach. So again, I want you to think about this now. You got activity. You're taking activity. You have a good attitude because you're still excited. You're still positive, but all of a sudden you're not getting results because your approach is not working. So what we're giving you today is approach. All right. Here are some different variety of ways to call. Reasons to call: texting, email, handwritten notes, personal visits. Let's get some hydration in me. Personal visits. I want you to think about that as you're calling. Somebody mentioned earlier, social media. I love social media too. Like I'll stalk people, like on Facebook. Not like really stalk them, but like when I say stalk, I'm joking. But I'm looking at their stuff. I want to see what they're up to. I want to see what they're doing. I want to know. I'll make comments on their posts at the same time as I'm following up with them and checking in. I mean, social media is great for that. So here's some different ways to stay in front of people and different varieties. So it's not just a call every single time. You're not just one-dimensional. Right? Who wants to be one-dimensional in here? Nobody. Nobody wants to be one-dimensional, right? All right. Number 6, no clear purpose for the call. Okay. Again, no clear purpose. Again, hey, just calling, just me again. Just trying to get in touch. Just following up. Like whenever somebody calls me and says, "Hey, I just followed up," I literally start laughing. Since I learned about this, like I find it funny. You know, tell people why you're calling every time. The reason for the call. So my phone number, I'm going to drop it for you guys on this webinar, is 774. Write this down, my number. But the things I want you to write down today are A cubed, which is attitude. You should always come to a training with a pen and a pad of paper, by the way. So, and I have one. See that? Attitude, approach, activity. Now, my phone number, 774. I want you to put it in my phone. So when I call you, you know it's me calling you. Okay, then you have my personal number, 774-696. Actually, I can't put my phone number out there. No, I'm going to give it to you anyway. 774-696-3656. Okay, so when you call me, you're going to hear how I answer the phone. My answer, it's always the same. Hi, this is David Hill, Path to Mastery. What can I get you information on? Now, anytime I reach out to somebody calls me, what are they looking for? Information. When I reach out to people, what am I providing to them? Information. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I have an intention. My intention is to provide good information. Okay. Maybe I want to find out how they're doing. How are they making out with their past sale? How are they making out with the product, right? Oh, maybe I just saw something. Hey, right now, today, as of today, January 10th, Bitcoin now has been approved for an ETF. I don't know if we have any other crypto people in the house, but Bitcoin approved for an ETF. That's actually a huge deal. Huge deal. Okay. I own Bitcoin, and it's a big deal for people that own Bitcoin, right? So maybe you know somebody and you know they're into crypto. It has nothing to do with what you're selling, but you're going to call them now and say, oh my gosh, did you see the news? Bitcoin is approved as an ETF. They're like, well, I didn't even know that. I want you to think about being really creative when you're calling, and think about it before you call. This is not about just randomly calling. No, this is a professional. We're going to think about this before the call. All right. Number 7, not leaving a message. Not leaving a message. And soon we're gonna get you into some Q&A too. Okay. I always leave a message. And I get pushback from this all the time. People give me pushback from like, why not leave a message? I'm trying to grow my business. Every time I call someone, I leave a message. That's what Grant says. And it's funny, Grant obviously does financially, he's in great shape, right? And it's funny because I was with him at his office a few weeks back, and he was saying how when a lot of real estate or agents or a lot of salespeople, a lot of in different industries, and they say things like, "Well, I don't want to seem desperate, so I'm not leaving. I'm leaving a mess." Listen, first off, they know you're calling anyway, okay? And you know what Grant said? Grant says, "I am desperate, bro. I'm desperate. I want to see." He don't care how much money he has. I don't care if they think I'm desperate. As a matter of fact, I want them to think I'm desperate because they're going to know I want to work for them. So sometimes we just got to get out of our own ego. Okay, we got to get out of our own ego. You know what I'm saying? So always leave a message. I leave a message every single time when I call somebody. Okay, I'll call them. I'm going to leave a quick, and if they don't listen to it, no big deal. We all get pinged when someone leaves a message. And for some of us, as a matter of fact, some of us use like a transcribing service. So when you leave a message, here's the proper message. Hi, my name is David with. Now, if they're using a transcribing service that turns the message into text, they're going to see that every time. They may not see any other part of the message. They may delete it, but they'll still see, hi, my name is David Hill with company. That's all you need to do. It's brilliant. All right. So leave a message here. Always leave a message. Okay, number 8, one of my favorites. This is what makes me an assassin when it comes to follow-up. Collecting data for future sales. Okay, this is a big mistake that a lot of salespeople make, is they do not collect the data. First off, we're not asking the right questions. Okay, so a lot of us aren't asking the right questions to even get the data, but once you ask the right questions and get what you need, then you have to store it somewhere in a system. And then you're using it. I was talking to one of my clients this morning about this. Everything you know about these guys, store in your system so that when you follow up, you can then bring them back to that. And they're gonna appreciate the fact that you remember their children's names. They're gonna appreciate the fact that you remember they just got a dog, right? They're gonna appreciate whatever it is. Maybe they're sports fans of the local team. Well, they're gonna appreciate the fact that you remembered that. So always store information. And there's going to be other things that are going to help you down the road. If somebody tells you their biggest challenge right now, like my biggest challenge right now is I have no system in place for follow-up. Like I'm missing so many deals because I don't follow up. Well, isn't that something you should know? And ask them about the system. What are they doing now? Keep all that so that when you follow up again, you can bring them back to that. All right, number 9, not asking for referrals. Listen, takes 3 seconds to ask. That's all. Even if someone's going to do business with you, great. If they're not going to do business with you, that's great too. You can still ask. Okay, I got it. Maybe we're not the right fit, or maybe you're going to go to someone else. I respect that. Hey, it happens. Who else do you know, by the way? Right? So ask frequently, and just keep asking. I've literally had wrong number calls. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. I had called wrong number, and I said, well, hey, since I have you on the phone, who else do you know that's looking to sell a house? And they're like, well, actually, and I've literally gotten deals that way. Not a lot, but you know what? I train myself to ask every single time. So it takes me 3 seconds to ask, and if I and I probably get a deal out of every 500 calls. So it's not like but it's the 3 seconds to ask. That's all it is. So just keep asking frequently. I really encourage you to do that. And then finally, it's just not being organized, not having a CRM. We have to have some type of a system in place, have a CRM, a place where you can add the information that can remind you to follow up. So that's the key here. You want some type of a system in place that's going to remind you, say, hey, call John Smith. You had a conversation with him 3 weeks ago. He asked you to call him today. Okay. And by the way, bring up the fact that he just dropped his son off at UMass Amherst, and bring up the fact that he loves, Taco Bell, right? I don't know if anybody loves Taco Bell, but yeah, I'm just throwing it, right? Like those are the types of things now that you're going to help you connect with people. So always get it in the CRM. And then I always want you to schedule another follow-up. There should be some next step. What we call it is always a next step, right? So always, no matter what, if I talk to somebody before I move on to the next person, I'm always thinking about, okay, what is the next step? So now bring in a positive attitude. I've been talking about that through the whole thing. Attitude is critically important. Okay, people. I mean, I've had some clients I've spoken with for 3 years, before they finally did business with me, or because that's how long it took. It's no big deal. It's not like every day I was sitting back and thinking, geez, I wonder what that person's doing. No, basically what was happening is I was doing my business, doing my job. I logged into my CRM and it said, hey, follow up with John Smith. All right. So I want to see in the chat, I'm curious now, who is using a CRM in the chat? I want to know what CRM you're using. Drop it in the chat for some other people. I want to see what kind of CRMs we're using. So we've got Command. Okay, cool. Command. I love it. I think that's KW's platform. We use a system. We have actually built our own system, but it's called Path to Mastery. So we have Lofty. Okay, cool. Some different ones I've not heard of. So just keep dropping. Just kind of curious. There's a lot of different ones out there. There's HubSpot. There's High Level. There's Salesforce. I mean, there's so many just really strong platforms out there. So, and then there's industry specific as well. So spreadsheets. I've developed a spreadsheet. I love it. Good. You can do so much on a spreadsheet, and then eventually you're going to outgrow it. But it's a good place to start. We've got Chime. We've got Rapid Funnel. Okay, I haven't heard of Rapid Funnel. I'm familiar with Chime. All right, good. So I see a lot of you guys do have CRMs in place, which is great. All right, so let me do this. So I want to let you guys, as I mentioned earlier, we on the 25th, we have a sales essentials workshop coming up. This is a day and a half where we get to spend some time together, and I'll bring you through the 5 steps in the sales process. And the reason I'm sharing this because every time I do a webinar, people reach out to me and say, David, just kind of curious to know, like, if I'm interested in someone teaching me this. So for me to teach it to you, I charge $2,500 a month, and that's 4 40-minute calls. Another great option is to join us in the webinar. Okay, and I have a special opportunity for today. It's not a webinar. It's actually it's an online training for a day and a half. All right. So the cool thing we created today was you get the VIP option for the cost of the general admission. So the VIP option gives you the full recordings. There's an additional 2 coaching calls. It's an awesome workshop. That's happening on the 25th. So you can scan that QR code. My assistant is going to drop a link in the chat. And here's the good news: if you go out, let's say you want to attend this workshop, you go out to Grant Cardone's office. You can go on the site, Google it right now. Go on to Google. Don't take my word for it. Go to Google and Google Sales Essentials Workshop and see what comes up. And you're going to see there's one option to take this workshop. It's to go to Grant's office and pay $4,995, or connect with one of Grant's licensees, because we're the only people out there that are licensed and permitted to deliver this course. So the reason I'm doing it for this price is because it's online. So if anybody's like, hey, I really need to take my sales to the next level this year, I really looking to get into this. I want to learn this follow-up process the way you were just explaining it. I want some accountability. I want to be networking with other people. Then this is the workshop for you. By the way, for some of you, you may be like, well, right now, I don't even know if I could do 997. So if that's the case, I wanted to create a way. Check this out. I wanted to create a way where you can actually jump into the training with us. All right. So what you just established here is like the tip of the iceberg compared to what we go into in this work. But what I want to do is we created a 4-pay option on PayPal. Right. Everybody trusts PayPal. So you can go on PayPal. You can sign up through the PayPal link, and it'll give you 4 payments over 4 months. Now, the cool thing about that is you make your first payment, you get into the workshop, you get working, okay, and then by your 3rd payment and your 4th payment, you should be making those payments based on the sales you've got from a result of the workshop. Who else gives you an opportunity like that? If you need that option. Otherwise, just drop the $997, get yourself into the VIP right now, and let's go. Let's get going, And so, look, I look forward to, I know some of you guys are going to take advantage of it. Listen, it's funny because I see some people, if you can't take it, you can't take it. That's all. No need to put it in the chat if you can't take it or not. That's fine. You reach out to me. And when's the next one? The next one is going to be when the next one is, The question is going to be, when it comes to your business, right? Can your business wait to the next one? Is your business able to wait until the next one? That's all. So again, it's all good for everybody. All right. So let me get you. I told you guys I was going to get you in the Q&A too. So I want to make sure I do that for you guys. All right. Let me go back to the slideshow. So there's no next one planned, by the way, just to respect your question. But the next one, I promise you, is going to be more than $997. This is a special right now for the webinar participants. So I really encourage you to take advantage of it. And I also give a guarantee every single time. I'm looking right in the camera right now, and I'm telling you that if you take the workshop and you go through the day in the second 2 hours in day 2, and then you say, David, that was not a good investment of my time, I am recording this live, that I will reimburse your money. That's how confident I am in this workshop, that I can tell you, do the workshop, and at the end, if you said it wasn't a good investment of my time and money, I will reimburse you. That's how confident I am in this webinar. Now, I want to get you guys into some Q&A. Before I do that, do we have any questions in the chat? I don't know what is going on with this thing right here. Do we have any questions in the chat? Let's see. Yeah, I'm just having a little tech issues here. That's all. It's with my tech's not functioning 100% properly today. But you know what? What do? You keep moving forward. You keep moving forward. So what questions do we have with regards to follow-up? All right. Well, you guys are thinking about your questions, right? Okay. I want to just share a quick story with you. So 2017, I was running a couple Keller Williams offices, and I joined this group of CEOs, business leaders from all over the country. So at the first meeting, we went out to Burlington, Vermont, and the person that was running the event had given us a health track. We had to pick one of 3. It was either yoga, high intensity interval training, HIIT, right? You guys have all heard the HIIT, or Ironman race. And it was like, there's no way in the world I can do an Ironman race. And the yoga seemed super wimpy. At the time, I didn't know how to swim. I didn't have a bike any side. So obviously I took the HIIT, the high intensity interval training, right? So by the end of the 3 days, the host kept telling everybody, if you did yoga, you got to do HIIT. If you did HIIT, you got to do Ironman. So at the third day, I just, okay, whatever, I'll do the Ironman. And I felt good about the Ironman until I got to the Ellington YMCA pool and I swam one single lap. That's one. You understand? This is it. One lap from one end of the pool to the other, 25 meters. And I thought I was going to die. I thought I was like, again, I'm not a swimmer. Okay, like I could just barely make it from one end of the pool to through the deep end without drowning. So I grabbed the end of the pool, and I panicked, and I said in my mind, I just did one lap, and I feel like this. In order to complete this race, I'd have to do 84 laps. I panicked. I called my wife. She's like, "Oh, David, you can do anything you want." And that wasn't going anywhere. So then I called the host, Adam, and he said, I'm not going to repeat exactly what he said, but he said along the lines of, "Hey, hire a coach and stop being a B word," and hung up on me. And I said, "They have swim coaches?" And I went to the front counter of the YMCA, and there was a swim coach named Joel. So the next day, Joel met me at the pool. He watched me swim the lap. And he said, "Okay." He said, "All right, catch your breath." And he said, "I want you to make these changes." And he walked next to me as I swam back to the other end and made it back. And then we took a break. And then he watched me swim back. And he said, "Okay, so I want you to practice this, all right, for the next hour. And then I want you to meet me here again tomorrow morning." And I said, "Okay, Joel." So, I stayed there for an hour and I practiced swimming, and I was doing my one lap and catching my breath, and I'd swim back. So then the next morning he shows up and he says, "Okay, did you practice?" I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Okay, let's go." So he said, "I want you to swim to one end. So and I want you to swim back." And I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know if I can do that." I'm like, but I did. So anyway, I swam to the other end and I turned around and I was breathing heavy and I swam back. I was all excited and I was just about to grab the end of the pool. And he says, "I want you to go back again." And I said, "What?" He said, "I want you to go back again." I says, he said, "Go back. You can do it. You can do it." So I turned around now and I started dragging my body back to the other end of the pool, right? And now I started getting a little nervous because I'm not a good swimmer. My body's like this. I'm taking in a little bit of water now. The water's going to my nose. I'm like, but I see the end of the pool and I can see the wall. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it. And then there's Joel standing there at the end. He says, "Okay, now go back." I said, "No." And like horror, I said, "I can't." He said, "Go back." And he yelled. And he said, "You can do it. Just go." And so I turned around and I started dragging myself back, guys. And I started dragging myself and I was moving, and it was so slow and it was so hard. And then I thought I was going to drown, but then I actually realized that I wasn't even in the deep end of the pool anymore. So I couldn't drown. All I had to do was put my legs down. And guys, I dragged myself all the way back to the other end of the pool. And the reason I share that story with you is because 3 days earlier, did one single lap. One. And I was ready to quit. Like, I gave up on myself. There's no way I can do this, I said. Here we are, 3 days later, somebody gave me a little bit of instruction and pushed me, and I just did 4 laps. I thought that was impossible. Within, I think, a month and a half, I did 16 laps, guys. 16 laps. I was on my way. Because somebody was willing to push me harder than I was willing to push myself. And this is me. This is me right here. This is me at Lake Placid. It's the one in the middle where I crossed the finish line. Okay. 6 hours and I think it was 6 hours and 17 minutes or something was my first race. All right. I crossed the finish line. And then there's my second race. with the one on the left, which was this past September, out in Jones Beach, New Jersey, New York. That one I finished in 5 hours and 45 minutes, I think, in a tropical storm. And by the way, you see the shirt that I have on? That shirt, we raised $10,000 for kids' cancer. We raised $10,000 for kids' cancer. Now, what's important about this, more than just me crossing this finish line these 2 times and raising the money, which is great, is the fact that I would not have completed this race. Okay, Courtney became my triathlon coach after I was done with Joel. So Courtney helped me through everything. But if I didn't start in that pool, if Joel did not push me, I would not have even made it to Courtney. I would have never made it to the finish line. I would have never crossed the finish line. And these kids would not have gotten that opportunity. And this didn't just show up as like, hey, oh gosh, I did a triathlon. No, it made me better in my business. It made me more confident as a parent. It put me in better physical shape, like so many other areas of my life. Why? Because my attitude changed. My attitude changed. My friends, who is going to push you is the question. Who's going to be your Joel? You have an opportunity in front of you right now. Like, are you going to tell yourself, oh man, that seems like a lot of money. I don't know if I can do that. Oh gosh, I'll wait till later. But really, you're not gonna do it down the road. You're just saying that. You know, listen, I've been doing sales 36 years. I know it. I've heard it all. Everything, every objection you got. Here's an opportunity right now to take advantage of it. Join us in the workshop. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna learn a ton, and you're gonna make 2024 the best year yet. And if for some reason at the end of a day and a half, it's being recorded right now, and you'd say, David, you even said it on the recording that if I didn't find it valuable, you'll give me my money back, then that's what we're going to do. And I even made it easier and said, listen, if you can't come up with $1,000 right now, but you're in sales and you're confident in yourself, then I will reimburse you the money at the end. Okay, so let me get you into some Q&R, not Q&R. Let me get you some Q&A. And I see somebody has their hand up, so we'll get to you in a minute. And I just want to bring you guys. So this right here, Sam's going to drop the link in the chat. There's a QR code you can scan. And with that said, yeah, let's take some questions. I love it. Let me go right to here, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. And Sam, can you drop that link in the chat, please? Let me stop share, and we'll get to John as his hand raised. So John, yeah, what's going on? If you want, you drop it in the chat, or maybe Sam can even bring you into the conversation. I'm not sure if you guys want to try to do that. You're welcome to come. Even open it up. It says, does the LinkedIn Sales Navigator count as a CRM? Hey, I like LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I wouldn't technically count it as a CRM because it's only inside LinkedIn, but I definitely like Sales Navigator, depending on what industry you're in. So, John, do you want to just drop? You're welcome to Sam. Can you help John come off chat? Or let me see if I can help you out. Or do you want to just drop your question in the chat, John? Let me see. Okay, you said twice, but I missed it both times. Please show the slide regarding 48%. 40 answered. Okay, dismissed. All right, appreciate that. And I see John, you raised your hand. Yeah, I can go back to the slides in a minute and show you the slide. But the only thing you need to know about the slide is less than 48% of salespeople ever follow up once. That's it. Less than 48% ever follow up more than once. So, and it takes 5 to 12 attempts. 5 to 12. So and by the way, and see that's what somebody told me. They said I don't give enough information about the workshop. So I'm going to email. I probably some of you guys are getting some emails from me anyway. But we give you a full 365-day follow-up plan. We also give you a 30-day follow-up plan as part of the curriculum. So the curriculum goes through, number one, the introduction and the greeting, so you can go out there and you can connect with people that you know as well as people you don't know. The second step is fact finding. This is about asking great questions, okay, digging deeper with people. figuring out what their challenges are, what their needs are. The next step is your demonstration. Okay, now you show up and you demonstrate only to the things that came up in fact finding. You understand what I'm saying? We only want to talk, like if somebody's biggest challenge is follow-up, then I do not want to talk to them about handling objections, right? Like maybe they need help handling objections. I get it. But why am I going to talk to them about handling objections when they're telling me the biggest challenge they have is follow-up? Does that make sense to you? So I really want you guys to get that. That's how we position this training. So we teach you guys what to say, what to ask, and then what to demonstrate on. And then no matter how good you are, right? The reality is no matter how good you are, people have objections. You have to be able to close. You have to be able to ask for the business and close. So we give you the objection handlers, and then we take the second day, the 2 hours in the second day is all practice. It's just practice. So the day one, you build out your whole conversation, your script, your greeting, your fact-finding questions, your closing question, everything. And then day two is you practice. It is an amazing experience, my friends. So that's it. And then you get over 232 pages. The manual is 232 pages with follow-up plans and scripts, and it is absolutely fantastic. All right. Do we have any other questions? Let's see. I'm not seeing questions, and I don't even see my assistant on here. I don't know if she's on here or not. What am I missing here? Sammy, did you drop the link? Well, hold on. Let me do this. All right. Well, listen. I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to stop the recording now, and we're just gonna continue. We'll continue the conversation for a little while, but I'm going to stop recording. So I just want to thank you guys so much for investing your time and being here with us.